Selena, Selena. Selena, Selena. Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Ooh, what we talking about? What we talking about? Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Girl, you know I wanna hear it all. I know you got the tea right, right. Lighten up the city right, city light. Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Ooh, what we talking about? What we talking about? Selena, Selena. Selena, Selena. Selena, Selena. Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Ooh, what we talking about? What we talking about? Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Girl, you know I wanna hear it all. I know you got the tea right, right. Lighten up the city right, city light. Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Ooh, what we talking about? What we talking about? Selena, Selena. Selena, Selena. Selena, Selena. Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Ooh, what we talking about? What we talking about? Tell me what's poppin', Selena. Girl, you know I wanna hear it.
Hey y'all, thank you for joining me. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Glorilla situation and how it's unfortunate that family members can't get along, and how you have one family member that came out there, which is her sister Victoria, talking about family business. And that just goes to show you sometimes just because you're family, that doesn't mean that you are family. Just because you are blood related doesn't mean that you are family, that you are kin. You may have some of the same DNA, but that has nothing to do with the love and connection. Sometimes you have the same blood as somebody, it still doesn't mean that you have the love or the connection with them. And as you see sometimes in these stories, especially when someone is a celebrity or someone gets a hold of a lot of money, you always will have people in your family that will sometimes think it's owed to them because they are part of your family. And that's not always necessarily true. Yes, there are some family members that make it big and they're very stingy. They don't give out to their family. They don't give to anyone, especially their family. And they may have their reasons, and sometimes it's just selfish. But then there is times where you have family members that will actually try to help family and provide for their family members that don't have. And sometimes family members will take advantage of that. They're like vultures. And again, just because they're family, it doesn't mean that there's someone that you could trust, that that's someone that loves you for who you are. And so those are the things you have to be careful about. You have to be very observant. You have to be, I would say, very cautious about who you give your money to, who you allow to take, to get into your spirit to where it causes you not it causes you to be have anxiety, or it causes you anger, or it causes you resentment, because sometimes family can take you there. And we see in the story with Glorilla and how dealing with her situation with her family members, and especially her sister, and bringing out all of their personal family business out there is just ridiculous. And so I'm going to go and show you a video of Glorilla's sister and what she pretty much says about Glorilla, and how she does not do anything for them. And I'm gonna play it, and we're gonna go from there.
Before it got this far, and for people to sit here and say I'm using it for clout, it's been 4 years. I've been had them screenshots. I've been could have flushed them. I wish that me and her could have sat down and talked about this shit. But it's too far now. It's too far gone. It's like too far gone.
That should have been the first thing, because I'm pretty sure in those 3 years, you probably was feeling a way about Glorilla's success. Maybe she was happy, maybe she was a little bit jealous and or envious of her sister because she made it out and she didn't. So sometimes jealousy happens within siblings, okay? And I can imagine her being in Memphis struggling for 3 years while she's seeing her sister on the Grammys and seeing her sister, hearing her sister's music on the radio. That could have caused some type of jealousy or envy in her. And a lot of times people will not admit when they're jealous or envious of someone until it just blows up. And when it blows up on the inside, it comes on out. And it's coming out right now as she is explaining why she feels like her sister owes her and her other siblings $2,500, and that she doesn't do anything for her mother and she doesn't do anything for her father. So she's putting everything out there, and it's her perception. Because if you listen to Glorilla's side and as she talked to her father, it's something totally different. So we have to really just not always take people's story as the truth, because there's more than one or two sides to a story. So we have to look at all the different angles. So I'm gonna keep playing, and then I'm gonna go to another video.
I can't. You know how I feel to not even be able to call them up, call the motherfucker you grew up with, you lay down with, and say, hey, what you doing?
Sometimes we cause confusion with other family members, and we cause friction between other family members, and it's hard for us to have that conversation with them after there has been so much hostility, so much sometimes hatred or dislike. It's hard for us to have conversation with the people that we grew up with, that the people that we once knew and maybe hung out with, or we seen at a family reunion. Sometimes so much hostility can cause such a rift that you don't even communicate, and you can't communicate. And if you do communicate, it's going to be an altercation. And when I have those type of situations, which is very far and few, in my relationships with my family, I usually separate from those type of people, because I understand that this is a hostile situation and this person's not going to bend and I'm not going to bend. So therefore we have to part ways. There's some relationships and families where you cannot come together. You just can't. It's unfortunate, but when you have strong personalities, or when there's a lot of hurt feelings, when there's a lot of resentment or hostility, it is very difficult for you to have sometimes those conversations. So when it's like that, the best thing for you to do is to part ways.
I didn't ask Glory for money for the first 2 years. So y'all sitting here talking about some shit. I went, Glory, you first said, I'm like, okay, bitch, pay me. I didn't do that. I did not do that. I ain't asked her for shit the first 2 years. About 2 years gone by, I'm like, damn, hey, you see me? I'm still here.
She feels unseen. She feels like Glorilla is not giving her that attention. She's not acknowledging her as her sister. She's not seeing that, hey, I'm here in Memphis. I'm struggling. I need your help, sis. And see, this conversation should have happened 2 years ago, not 4 years later, when you're hot and you're pissed and you're ready to go in and tell everybody your family business. A simple conversation when at the very beginning is sometimes needed. If you can have that conversation with that family member. Sometimes, like I said before, sometimes you can't and you have to part ways. But a lot of the times, hurt feelings happen because of misunderstandings, because of miscommunication. People do not want to have a conversation. They don't want to talk about what hurts them, how they really feel, because they have an ego. That's just what it is. People have an ego, and sometimes their ego gets in the way of a good relationship, or a relationship that actually could be reconciled. Their ego stops them from doing that. So had she had this conversation with her sister 4 years ago, she would not be here mad and pissed off and ready to just explode and tell everything that's going on. a lot of things happen in families because they don't want to talk. There's no communication. There's misunderstandings. There's things that people sweep under the rug, and it festers, and then it becomes bitterness, and it becomes resentment. And this is what you're seeing now. You're seeing a young lady that has a lot of resentment. She has a lot of bitterness. Maybe in her life it didn't work. Things didn't work out the way she planned. She felt stuck in Memphis. She sees her sister face everywhere. She hears her on the radio. She sees her on the TV. She sees her in the blogs, everything. You are at home struggling, trying to figure out what you're going to eat, and you see your sister being successful. You can't tell me that did not create some type of envy and jealousy there. Now, why Glorilla didn't do what, maybe, some people with money do to help their family members, or maybe she did, and maybe for her sister it just wasn't enough. Who knows? We don't know all of the story, so I can't go into everything because I don't know everything apart, with the story. And like I said, it's more than two sides to a story. So we have to sometimes step back as spectators and be like, you know what? Until I have all of the evidence, until I know everything, I can't possibly really give the truth of the matter of what's actually going on. I can just only speculate. I can just only assume. I can just only go by what each party is saying and take and have my perception from that. But really, a lot of the times, people cannot have a conversation with each other at the very beginning, and then it creates bitterness and resentment.
That's what happened. If I wanted, she ain't been fucking with us in 4 years. So if I wanted clout, even if she puts a nerve to me or she won't fuck with me before she hit, if I wanted clout, I could have been exposed her. So stop saying it. Get y'all stupid. Y'all from Lakeside. No, it's too late. It's too late. It went too far.
It went too far because you went too far. See, a lot of the times when people put their personal business, their family business online, and everything is out there, you have already went too far. And when you go too far, it's hard to come back from. So that's why you have to watch what you put out in the atmosphere. Watch what you put out in social media, because you cannot take it back. You can delete videos, you can delete Instagram, but somebody has that information. Somebody has that same live stream that you did when you was talking trash about your family. So you got to be careful about what you put out in social media, because when you go too far, sometimes it's hard to come back from, and you'll never sometimes come back from it. So you got to be careful what you put out. And then I'm going to go to the other video that I wanted to show you guys, because like I said, my heart goes out to, families that, have a hard time, getting along, because family is all we got at the end of the day. But just because like I said, family is not always blood related. So that's another thing you have to consider. Just because you are blood related, that doesn't mean that you're family. So so hey, it is what it is. Now I'm gonna go to Glorilla, and she's gonna talk a little bit about basically stating her case, and she's gonna be talking to her father and about what's going on. So let me play that. Hold on just a second.
He's not helping her financially.
Y'all see him trying to come to justify her. She got 10 siblings. 10 siblings. 10. An autistic sibling. Gloria has been on for 4 years. I haven't got a red cent. My brother, I got 2 siblings staying down there with her. 2 siblings. One of my brothers called my mama, asking her for $40 to pay his phone bill. You got Rambo riding in nice cars. That's not our cousin. He riding in nice cars.
You could have been saying my name and did a positive. You went about it the wrong way, Shawty. Now you'll never get a penny out of me.
You hear what she said? She went about it the wrong way. Going on social media and then putting your family business and all that out there. Do you really think you're going to get anywhere positive with it? You're going to get the total opposite of what you desired. And now, not only has she messed up and severed her relationship with her sister, she's also caused even more confusion within her family and more chaos. Then you're going to have another divide because you're going to have some siblings that will agree with Victoria. Then you'll have other siblings that will agree with Glorilla. And then you'll have the mom and dad. They in the middle. They might have to pick a side. So here it goes, more division, more confusion, just because she went about it in the wrong way. See, a lot of things can be resolved if people will go about it in the right way, go about it in a decent way. There's always a right and a wrong way to do anything. There's always a decent and an indecent way to do anything. And what this girl did, Victoria, she came out there telling the whole wide world about her sister not giving her or her siblings any money, talking about everything that happened when they were kids. And all of that was so unnecessary.
And y'all saying other people, the ones y'all got y'all input to put on it, y'all ain't never been, my whole life, even before I was rich, I always been the one that never asked for shit. I always been the one to do shit for motherfuckers. So y'all, the ones that feel where she coming from, y'all don't know shit because y'all ain't never been the ones to have shit. Like, I ain't, like, my people, I feel they straight. My mama, she straight. Let me call my dad. Hold on.
So as she called her dad is talking to her, and the dad really gives a lot of insight that Glorilla went far beyond what any daughter would do, and he's just giving her accolades. So it's basically seeming like what her sister was saying, Victoria, earlier was kind of like maybe not true, because he's saying, no, she's been there for me. She has did things for me and her mother. So I'm gonna play a little bit of that.
Y'all know how my dad look already. I can FaceTime him. Y'all swear everything I post be fake. I post fake. Does our whole life. You was in foster care. You was living with my uncle and my aunties now because you keep talking about our story. You didn't live there with us, so you was in foster care. Victoria
was said to be the problem child, and she said that Glorilla said that in her interview last year with Club Shay Shay when she was on Shannon Sharp's show, and she was talking about how this particular sister that was the one above her, which was Victoria, would call and report her mom because they would get beatings or whoopings or something, and she would call CPS. Well, they ended up taking Victoria out of the home, and she was living with her aunt and the uncle, and then in foster care. So she has always, kind of just, been different from the rest. And Glorilla and her other siblings were with her mother. So she talks a little bit about that.
We was still walking around with boots and shoes. She was in foster care, getting Jordans.
What up, Glorilla? How you doing?
What's up, Ben?
How you been doing?
1,000 people looking at you.
Hold on. Say what?
I'm on live.
Let me tell y'all what's wrong. Number one, whatever happened in the Woods family ain't none of y'all got business. That's my business. All them my children.
She put them in the business though, Dad, so you can't get mad at them for talking what they talk, because she got on there and put them in that lying ass business.
Listen, baby, I don't get on there because I done dated all y'all my children. Victoria needs her mother. She know better. Spreading the family business, whatever happened in the Woods family, good or bad, they ain't none of y'all concerned. What y'all
not nobody's concern. Whatever happens within your family is not meant to be put on social media. And this is what people need to learn. And so now this young lady has put her business, everybody else's business in the family out there, whether it's true or a lie. But it's still the fact that she has went on social media talking about her family business and what's happening, what's going on. That is inappropriate. That's just really inappropriate, and it shouldn't have even happened. Whatever her and her sister had going on between each other, this could have been a simple conversation 4 years ago without it being on social media now. And now you have a situation where one sister has went too far, and it's going to be hard for her to come back from this. Guys, I'm just saying that if you can avoid these type of situations, have a conversation with your loved one. If you cannot have a conversation with your loved one, then part ways. Just because people are blood doesn't mean that they need to be in your life. That's another thing. Just because they have been raised up with you, just because y'all share some of the same DNA, that still doesn't mean that that person needs to be a part of your life. But at the same time, you have to also understand that family is also important as well. Family is, where I get a lot of my identity from. It's where I get a lot of my love and my safety and my confidence from my family and how my upbringing. But unfortunately, everybody doesn't have that story. And it's always one or somebody in the family that you're not going to get along with. And if that person is taking away your peace, if that person is going against your boundaries, if that person is making you feel like you just can't be around that person anymore, and then they're taking a part of you with them, and they're using you, they're like vultures. You need to part ways from that person. Just because they are blood related to you, that doesn't mean that they can be try to destroy you or try to take your peace. You have to create your own boundaries for people. You have to let people know, hey, we can't do this. This is not going to happen. You're not going to be able to say this. You're not going to be able to do this to me. And sometimes family is your worst enemy, but then sometimes your family is your safe haven. For some people, it's very different. It's a very different story. And a lot of things change when people have money and when people don't have money. So those are things you have to consider when you have money and when you don't have money. How will your family interact with you? How will your family act if you don't give them money? How will your family act when you give them money? Are they going to keep asking, using you and using you and using you? Are you going to keep allowing some of your family to use you and use you? That's why I said in everything, you have to understand, to have boundaries is to protect not only that person, but to protect you. Boundaries is something that keeps you safe, that keeps you guarded, that keeps you balanced in life. Because if you don't have boundaries, anything and everything will be able to happen to you, and people will do any and everything to you because you don't have any boundaries. You have no standards for yourself. And sometimes family can and will be your worst enemy. And then sometimes family can be a safe haven. It's something that, that's a beautiful thing. But like I said, just because they are blood, that does not mean that they are family. Guys, love you to Reese's Pieces. I hope you got something from this. Thank you so much for joining me. Talk to you later. Bye.